Alright. First of all, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, and leave a respectful comment down the belows. Second of all, do I have to talk about 007? Nobody asked me to. But it is a thing. And I guess because it is a thing, and I know people know I like movies, and I talk about movies all the time, and I talk about how much I hate GoldenEye, the video game on the Nintendo 64. Maybe I should talk about 007. A.K.A. James Bond. A.K.A. what the fuck, people. For fuck's sake. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna try my goddamn hardest to be respectful to the fans of 007 while not giving two flying fucks about the assholes that make it. Deal? If you're a fan of 007, good for you. Enjoy it. If you're an asshole that made it, wrote it, produced it, directed it, starred in it, or had anything to do with it, fuck off. I fucking hate 007. Now, wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Shouldn't I love 007? And this isn't xenophobia. It's not because it's British. Because, remember when I talked about how much I love Torchwood? Okay, I have problems with Doctor Who, but I also really love Downton Abbey. And other British things. Not so much British humor, but you know what? They do some stuff I like. It isn't because it's British. Although maybe it being British might be a part of what's wrong with it or why I don't get into it, but I don't even know then because I really like Austin Powers and he's basically a spoof of 007. Well, kinda, sorta. I also like action-adventure movies. Kinda, sorta. And I also like sci-fi. A lot. And 007 is almost teetering on kinda, sorta in the sci-fi family. Almost. So I should at least like that aspect of it, right? Where's my camera? Which way do I have to go? There we go. Alright. So it does have things I should like. Right? Well, yeah, I guess. Except, at its core, what is it? Is it a comic book movie? No. Is it a horror movie? No. Is it a sci-fi movie? No. Then what the fuck is it? One word. Well, one word, it's a movie, but it's a type of movie. It's a spy, that's the one word. Movie, it's a spy movie. So technically two words? Semantics. But anyways, it's a spy movie is what it is. I previously stated there are film genres that I carte blanche don't like. Just all across the board, not interested. Tearjerkers, I'll call them. You know, the sappy family dramas. That's not for me. Dramedies, not for me. Hallmark movies, absolutely not for me. And obviously the list goes on and on. Cartoons, musicals, kids movies, westerns. Just blanket not for me. Can a movie in one of these various genres from time to time transcend itself and enter into my lexicon, my world, my canon? Yeah. That can happen. And occasionally, I shouldn't say often, occasionally, does happen. Now, there are two other types of movies I didn't mention that I, by and large, don't like. Mysteries, specifically murder mysteries, and I say by and large. There are some I do like. And spy movies. Or, more specifically, the, well, not just spy movies, but the, political thrillers, specifically. Basically anything that has to do with world governments fighting other world governments or capitalists fighting other, whatever, that political intrigue and stuff. Not interested. Not interested. Not for me. And at their core, that's what spy movies are. Basically. So, I have mixed feelings about 007, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something that's going to piss you off. I haven't seen that many 007 movies. In fact, from start to finish, I've only seen 4. And I hated every minute of every one of them. Every minute of every one of them. I'm not going to tell you which 4 I've seen. Not at all. I'm not even going to give you a hint. I'm not going to tell you who was James Bond. I'm not going to tell you what was the plot, who was the villain, who was the Bond girl, nothing. I've seen 4 of them randomly dispersed throughout the decades. I hated every minute of every one of them. Every minute. Hated watching those movies. Now, why did I watch them? Because I have friends who are obsessed with this shit. And I'm the type of person that's like, hey, you ask me to watch a movie with you, I'll agree to do it. Agree to it on the condition that you watch something with me that I want to watch. I'm usually pretty good about that. It's very, 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 very rare I put my foot down and say no. I'm not watching that with you. There's nothing you can do. I'd say shy of giving me $1 million. I'm not too unreasonable. There's a lot of things I'll do for $1 million. There's a lot of things I won't do for $1 million, so let's not run away with this. But here's my problem with 007. Now, I don't take issue with it's cheesy, because it is. I don't take issue with its convoluted plots, because I've watched a lot of movies with convoluted plots. And I can at least, I'll give you this, I can at least respect they make an effort, at least when it comes to the action sequences and the special effects. They make an effort there, an honest-to-God effort when it comes to the special effects and the action sequences. And I guess if that's enough to placate you, then more power to you. However, the action sequence, while is usually the best thing in the movie, it's 10 minutes of a 2.5-hour movie. I gotta sit through another however many minutes that is for the rest of the movie? Oh my god, insufferable. James Bond ain't no goddamn Indiana Jones, I'll tell you that. Alright. Okay, so plot, air quotes, no. There's a supervillain who has a super weapon that's going to destroy the world, and he sends a hot girl to seduce Bond, who gets the plot and the secret out of the bad guy from her, and then goes and blows up the weapon and catches or kills the bad guy. And roll credits. It's the same goddamn movie. They made the same movie 27 times. 27 times they made the same goddamn movie. It's bad enough Paramount made the same Friday the 13th movie 8 times. That's obnoxious enough. They did it in the span of 7 years. This is obnoxious. This is 27 movies spread out over 60 years. Jesus Christ almighty God. Can we stop with the James Bond already? Alright, so you got some tropes. Nah, I don't mind tropes. Tropes are, a part of a thing. Every movie, you've got a henchman who is an unfortunately named culturally insensitive racial stereotype. Every fucking movie. And then you have an overly sexual woman, Bond villain, Bond woman, who is, they call her a Bond woman or Bond girl, I don't know what's more sexist, I'll say Bond woman, whose name is a pun on something sexual, some kind of sexual position or body part or something sexual. Alright? I'm gonna roll my eyes at it, but whatever. It's in every movie. And no, I'm not gonna say the goddamn line. It's in every movie. You've heard it. You've heard Homer Simpson say it. You've heard every movie star, television star, comedian ever on the face of the earth say that goddamn line. I ain't gonna fucking say it. But put $1 million in my bank account and I'll say the goddamn line. There you go. You got $1 million? You want me to say the line? There you go. Otherwise, I ain't saying the goddamn line. You know the line. And it's in every fucking movie. Sometimes twice. Alright. I can... It's a stupid line, but I'll allow it. Yoda talks like a kindergartner, but we're okay with it. I guess. You know, talking backwards. Maybe that's a thing British do? I mean, wasn't Yoda's puppeteer British? I don't know. Frank Oz, is he British? I gotta look that up. Give me 1 second. Is Frank Oz British? Yep, he was British. Alright, so there you go. I was onto something. Alright, but I can forgive. I can sweep that under the rug. Whatever, it is what it is. It's iconic. It's everywhere, but it's iconic. It's not as good of a line as Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. But it is what it is. You make do with what you're given. Alright. So convoluted story isn't my major issue with these movies. The insensitive racial stereotypical henchmen, yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever. The British are racist, but not all, but like Americans by and large, especially the white ones. And James Bond, up till now, or up until so far, has been white. So yeah, okay. But I'll give them the special effects. Pretty good special effects. And I'll say this. I love gadgets. I will give James Bond credit for having dope as fuck gadgets. Yeah, the gadgets, alright. Sometimes the gadget is the highlight of the movie. Followed by, 35 minutes later, the 10-minute action sequence, and then the spy bullshit. And I'll say it. Mission Impossible does it better. What about it? What are you going to say? Come at me. But, alright, whatever. Gadgets are cool. Hey, I like Inspector Gadget. He's a walking, talking gadget. Alright. So then what is my problem with these movies then? You're wondering, right? We've gone 13 minutes into the video and I haven't really put a pin in why I don't like these movies. Well, I mean, it would be easy to say they're boring, but boring is subjective. That's hard to quantify. Well, like I said, political intrigue doesn't really interest me much. Now, your comic book movies, they usually have a supervillain with a MacGuffin that's going to help them take over the world, and the superheroes have to destroy the MacGuffin to stop the bad guy. But your superheroes have magical powers and supernatural, extraordinary abilities and can believably do extraordinary things that they do. James Bond is what amounts to an FBI agent doing superhero levels of stunts? Fuck off. Fuck off. No. Not fucking believable. Even with the assistance of his gadgets, every movie has him doing physics-defying bullshit that, yeah, I'll believe Thor or Captain America can do, but not James Bond. He can't do that shit. Physics-defying bullshit. Fuck off. I have a problem with that. Unless you give me a science-y technological explanation for breaking physics, or you give me a supernatural magic explanation for breaking physics, don't break physics in your action-adventure movie. Especially if you're only going to give me barely sci-fi references at best. Either go whole hog sci-fi or don't fucking do it. That does irritate me. This is the same problem I have with the Bourne movies. Fuck you, dude. You don't have any memory of who the fuck you are, but you've got all the powers of Captain America, but without the serum? Give me a fucking break. No. I mean, I'll believe Arnold Schwarzenegger can pick up a Volkswagen with his bare hands and throw it, because the guy's the size of a fucking monkey, an ape, a gorilla. He's huge. He's ginormous. Matt Damon is not ginormous. And none of the dudes who played fucking 007 James Bond are ginormous. I don't believe they have superhuman abilities. And yet, he exhibits basically superhuman abilities in every movie. Fuck off. Alright. So, we have 12 or 13, depending on how you count and who you ask, Friday the 13th movies, and it's basically the same movie over and over and over again. But you have a different villain in the first movie, Mrs. Voorhees, and then you have Jason the rest of the time. Now, behind the mask, because he wears a mask, Jason is played by a different actor every movie, more or less, for the most part, because he's the guy in a mask. Anyone can put on a mask, grab a machete, and pretend to be Jason for 2.5 hours. Or 86 minutes, or whatever. They have made 11 or so, 10, 9, 10, 11 Nightmare on Elm Street films. Robert Englund was Freddy Krueger in all but one, and the one he wasn't Freddy Krueger, people shit on all day long. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. Darth Vader's tricky. You know, David Prowse is the body. James Earl Jones is the voice. And what's his face is the face. Anakin Skywalker. What's his name? From Life is a House. Anyways, I don't care. Anyway, okay. But Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker. Keanu Reeves is Neo from The Matrix. You know what I'm getting at? But who the fuck is James Bond? I don't fucking know. It's a different dude every 4 or 5 years. But it's always the same guy. But it's not the same guy because the continuity doesn't make sense if it's the same guy, but the continuity doesn't make sense if it's not the same guy. So what the fuck is it supposed to be? I don't fucking know. Have I seen all the movies? No, I've just read the Wikipedia articles and had exhaustive discussions / arguments with friends who are trying to convince me why they're worth a shit when I'm like, no, they're not. Is there a possibility in those 27 plus movies I may stumble across the one I like? I mean, yeah, I guess. But am I going to sit through 26 movies that make me want to bang my head against the table to find the one diamond in the rough? God, no. Because I've already sat through 4 of those fucking rubbish things. And like I said previously, hated every second of every one of them. No, 007 is not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of coffee. It's not my fucking energy drink. It's not my... It just... No. 007 and me don't mix. We don't belong in the same space. Do you like it? Good for you. I'm legitimately curious which one. Watch my other videos. Watch my top 25 lists. Look at my horror reviews. Recommend me the one you think I'll like. And if you recommend me one I've already seen, I'll be like, sorry, try again. Here's a whammy. But I'm legitimately willing to... I'll tell you what. Go to my Patreon and give me $50. The first person to give me $50 I'll watch all 27. I'll marathon all 27 007s. Not back to back, but I'll watch them all. That's my price. Go to my Twitter. You'll find my bio. I've got links. It's down below in the description of the video. The first person to send me $50 and say watch 007, I'll do it. I'll watch them all. And then I'll tell you if and or which ones I ended up liking. Other than that, I'm not talking about James Bond ever again.